Let's talk about Little People, Big World, Season 25, Episode 4. It's called A Complete and Total Surprise. In this episode, Caryn and Matt announce their somewhat awkward engagement news, and Jackson starts to feel different from his friends. The episode starts with Amy and Chris in their garage. Chris is literally checking the tire pressure of his motorcycle, and they're planning on taking the motorcycle to where else? Roll-Off Farms to see the progress on Amy's ex-husband Matt's new house. Amy says, I have no interest in Matt's house, but Chris does. Why, Chris? Why? Chris, I feel, just knows this will be good TV and is willing to stir the pot. So he's keeping the show alive, guys. What can I say? But I kind of feel bad for Amy. And then, lo and behold, Chris can't find the key to his motorcycle, and we are subjected to 5 minutes of Chris looking for the key in different places in the house, in his closet, in the dresser. Where is the key? Take us out of our misery. Amy is not even wanting to say too much because she's usually the disorganized one. Accurate. They finally get to the house and Matt asks Amy for her opinion on their new kitchen. Make that make sense, honestly. And Amy's even like, why do I want to look at this? She immediately says, why do you need such a big kitchen for? And she looks at Caryn and says, do you cook? Apparently, Caryn doesn't like to cook and Matt doesn't. And it's like she's giving them straight shade for that. And I don't really blame her. Now, we're in Battleground at Tori and Zach's new house, and they're sitting on the floor talking about Jackson's soccer team. Zach has been obsessed with soccer since childhood and is coaching Jackson's team this year, and he wants to make Jackson look good out there, Zach is in his soccer dad era at this point, and lucky for them, they have their own storyline, and they don't need to film with Amy or Matt in this episode. So we learned that it wasn't filmed, but Matt actually proposed to Caryn in Arizona and asked her to grow old with him. And now they're telling people. And this is not going to go over well with fans who still see Caryn as the other woman. And honestly, probably the kids. I don't know. For example, Zach doesn't even like Caryn. He didn't even want to introduce his youngest child to her. So there's some baggage with this news for sure. First, they're telling their friends, the easiest thing to do. Matt says that Amy actually texted back about the news and said something pleasant, and then the kids seemed excited, but he didn't hear from Zach at all. Matt is like, he's busy down there in Battleground. I'm not taking it personally. I have very thick skin. I feel like Matt should be more alarmed by this as a sign that he needs to fix things with Zach quickly. Obviously, no one's too busy to respond to something big like that. So Matt's just in denial about the rift. And Chris just cannot stay away from Matt and Roll-Off Farms, and he is back to, watch something happened with the house. It's not really clear, cement or trusses or I don't know, and congratulate Matt in person about his engagement. And then they have banter about how the ring is twice the size of what he gave Amy. Kind of cringy, kind of awkward. How would you want your husband to do this with your ex? It's weird. Matt then pokes a joke about Chris being the best man and kind of immediately invites them to the wedding, and Caryn's face is like, uh-oh. And Chris insists on being at the bachelor party, and Matt makes a terrible, terrible joke in his confessional about, what would be really funny if Amy was Caryn's bridesmaid. Haha, not funny, Matt. Not funny. Amy thinks you cheated on her with Caryn. She would not be caught dead being a bridesmaid. And now Zach and Tori are hosting a little party, and Tori found out moms were coming, so now it's next level. So she took everything over and ordered pizza because it's quicker than burgers. Tori still remembers and holds it against him, but when Zach didn't buy enough food for Jackson's first birthday party, so, she won't let him live it down, and she says Amy always took care of the food situation, and so Zach doesn't know what he's doing. Facts. Chris and Amy now are going on a hike to visit a waterfall and talk about, you guessed it, Matt and Caryn. He tells Amy he may go to the bachelor party, and Amy literally thinks he's joking. He is not joking. It's all about the experience. He says if it's local, he wants to go because bachelor parties are always fun. And Amy says she won't go to the wedding because it's too awkward for the kids. Probably true. And who knows which kids are actually going to show up. Matt and Caryn should just elope, honestly. Zach is now hosting the playdate soccer game thing. Jackson is doing his thing. The moms are there and the older siblings showed up. Jackson takes a break and they talk about how it has happened where kids will tell Jackson he's too short to play soccer. And Zach's kind of well, it's going to keep happening over and over and over. So it's just starting to happen, and it's just so sad. And, Jackson's a very confident boy, though, so hopefully he can just kind of overcome that stuff. And that's it for season 25, episode 4 of Little People, Big World. Kind of a snoozer, a little bit. I mean, I'm sorry, I love the show, but Matt and Caryn's engagement, it wasn't even filmed. Really? They did it in quiet, and it's almost, when they talk about it, it's literally almost like they're ashamed or something, or they just know they're gonna get backlash, so I don't know, they just kind of sheepishly talk about it. It's kind of weird. And apparently Matt was going to wait until the house was built, but he just kind of did it in Arizona. Overall, I think Amy is handling it pretty well. She's happy for them. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that she got married first. So she's so moved on and far removed from the situation. But let us remember that Caryn, in Amy's book, did imply that she definitely thinks that there was some overlap. And when they actually had a clip of Caryn talking about who would have known back in the day that I would end up being married to Matt Roloff, they showed a retro clip of her, Matt, and Amy and Matt were married at the time. It's just so awkward. Don't you think? Anyways, let me know what you think of their whole engagement and whether or not you think they're going to televise the wedding or not. Would you want to see that? Do we want to see that? Or should they just elope by themselves and so we don't need to see it? All right, guys. Bye.